would like to tell you a few words about myself. My name is Matej Michalko, and I'm the founder and director of Decent Foundation. And what we are doing is that we develop a blockchain-based digital content distribution platform that will save the authors and readers fees from unnecessary middlemen. Although this is a trading conference, being invited here, talk about blockchain and various use cases in order to illustrate it can be applied in almost anything you can imagine that is web-based currently. So let's start with taxi. I don't know how in Russia, but in most of the European countries, taxi services have quite a bad reputation. It is because their rates are kind of expensive compared to public transport. Their drivers are not always polite, and sometimes they try to cheat or manipulate the price. And I'm not talking about foreigners in this case. The question is why is this? There are governments, either local or municipal ones, who are taking care of taxi services and define according to which rules the service will be conducted. There are tests from drivers and so on. But one can see that it probably doesn't help that much. If you have a look at Uber, on the left-hand side of the slide, I'm not sure whether all of you know it, but I actually took it to come to this place. As far as I know, it works in St. Petersburg and Moscow in Russia, and I personally took it in a few European countries in the US and China. Uber is kind of a taxi replacement service where almost any driver is allowed to drive, and the fare is, most of the cases, much more favorable for the customers. It's easy to use. There is one app for everything. One can use the same app in any country, just at the address and the destination address, and you go and you pay with your credit card. What Uber has done that has, in my opinion, removed some unnecessary middlemen from the equation, and in order to ameliorate the service for the customers and drivers. But at the end, Uber is actually another middleman. The company behind Uber takes about 20% of the fees paid by the customers for their operation costs and development and so on. If you have a look at publishing market, ebook royalties, what would a novice ebook author do when he or she wants to publish a book? Well, they can go to one of the many incumbent content distribution platforms. For example, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple iBook stores, or any other retailer. But what happens here is that in the case of Amazon, they take $35 out of each 100. Well, no, the authors get $35 out of 100. So their royalties are 65%. So if an author publishes a book, let's say they have sales of $100,000, they receive only $35,000. What can we do with this? Well, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Uber is a server-based centralized platform. That means there is a single place. It can be even a cloud of servers, whatever, but it's controlled by one entity where all the other clients connect. The other case is a decentralized network kind of a mesh network where each part, each node of the network has the same importance, or more or less the same importance. The problem with the decentralized network is that how one defines the trust. Should I trust the computer on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, or who knows, right? What is needed is an approach to trust determination, decentralized trust determination. And what does this is a blockchain. This is the cover picture of The Economist, last week's issue of The Economist, showing the trust machine, which is a blockchain, and there is a nice article describing its advantages in various domains of applications. So what is a blockchain? We had a very nice introduction to the landscape during the previous presentation, so I will just briefly describe how it works. Blockchain is a decentralized, distributed database of transactions that happen in the network. Blockchain usually has a form of a single linked list where the blocks are arranged in a time-stamped manner. That means the earlier blocks have lower numbers than the later blocks. What advantage it has? The advantage is that given the fact that it's linked in one way, the blocks that are later or earlier, in order to be removed, then one would need to process many other blocks. And given the fact that it's distributed in all the computers in the peer-to-peer network, it gives people trust. Yes, well, there are many limitations to this technology. Of course, its scalability, its size, and so on. But the general idea is that it decentralizes the trust. Blockchain has blockchain application has multiple use cases. Many of them have already been mentioned. But my favorite one is the replacement of kind of public notaries. One goes to a notary public in order to have a document notarized, to have a stamp on it, and later on to show the authenticity to other parties. This can be done with blockchain. If a government incorporates this, there would be no need for a public notary. Another use case would be the proof of existence. One can show a timestamp of a document or invention, describing an invention or whatever, and he or she can show in a trustworthy way that he or she was the first to come up with this. This could be the replacement of patent offices. Another one, which I'm currently working at, is the digital content distribution. As I already said, people usually don't have another way to publish, let's say, feasible way to publish ebooks than to go to one incumbent content distribution platform, such as Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and so on. What we developed or are about to release in a month or two is a digital content distribution platform where one can publish any kind of text, music, picture or video, and sell it using peer-to-peer payments. The key fact is that 100% of the fees paid by the authors, paid by the readers, go to the author. There is no one who takes any kind of fee, and the distribution is totally free of charge. It uses peer-to-peer micropayments peer-to-peer encryption, so the content is secure, it's encrypted, and it gets only to the people who paid for it or are entitled to read the content. The whole thing will be open source. So project is called Decent, decent.ch. If any one of you is interested in the project, can go on the website or email me. Or if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Thank you.
Matej, I have a question. And where do you store the content itself?
Well, the content is not stored in the blockchain. It's stored on a separate layer. As Decent protocol is a multi-layered protocol, one layer is for transactions and payments. That means the transaction can be either a payment or a content sent from one node to another, from the author to the reader. The data itself is not stored in the blockchain due to scalability issues. The blockchain would be just too big in order to handle this, and not scalable at all. Currently, we are using a clone of a BitTorrent, and later on, we are aiming to incorporate another data distribution protocols. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
How do you prove that if I author and I give you the content, that the content is linked to the torrent file, the exact torrent file? Could it be hacked or some way faked?
Well, the pointer, let's call it the pointer to the content, it's stored in the blockchain. So from this point of view, it can't, as a blockchain is unhackable. Of course, there are multiple well-known attacks, such as 51% attack and so on, when one party controls the majority of the blockchain.
I mean, could I send it twice or more times the same file, or someone else could he sell several times?
From the point of view of blockchain, no, because well, one blockchain transaction is pointed to one particular torrent file.
Okay.
But if you want to resend the same file, let's say with the same hash again, you can, but it will be a new transaction with, let's say, a new torrent file.
Okay, thanks.